What's up guys, FutureGameDev here and welcome back to another episode of the Portal 2 Community Spotlight. I don't really know why I was staring at the fan, but get this. I muted my microphone during recording for this entire episode. But I really have a thing against re-recording, so what I wanted to do instead was kind of just voice over the whole thing, just because I really had a good run through with these chambers, and I just didn't want to sacrifice them, because you know, when you run through a chamber again, it's just not the same. So we're starting off with confusion test, which was a little confusing in the beginning, but not as confusing as I would have thought it was. So I'm going through now, testing all the buttons and seeing what that does, and then that got fizzled. It's kind of funny to watch myself go back and play these. I actually had a comment the other day on a slightly older map, and I apparently hacked it, and I remember when I did it, but I didn't remember it when I was looking at the name, so I had to go back and re-watch my video to figure out what I hacked, and it was really kind of funny to see what happened there, and you know, watching your videos, it's a very strange thing. So that was kind of a interesting little experiment. So you're going to be seeing this on a Wednesday, and the big thing about seeing it on a Wednesday is that's when college starts for me. So I don't really know what's going to happen as far as the channel goes, because I know school is going to end up taking priority over YouTube. I understood that when I started doing this channel, but I really hope beyond hope that I don't have to... Even when I'm watching the video, I stop when I get zapped by those lasers. I don't want to have to stop making videos. I don't want to have to cut back on making them just so I can, you know, concentrate on school. But if it happens, it happens. And I hate to think about what would happen if I had to do that, but sadly it's something I do actually have to think about. So hopefully you guys will be very supportive of me while I'm going through this, and I'm just hoping, there's a lot of hope in this, I'm hoping that I won't have to stop, because I enjoy this too much to want to cut back. And I'm assuming you guys do too, because there's more than... What was the number the last time I checked? I think there's more than 130 of you that love the stuff that I'm doing and subscribe to the channel. And that number is growing. It always amazes me when I look at the analytics. And I know numbers aren't everything, but they're still cool to read sometimes. It's crazy to see every month is just so much stronger than the last as far as views and subscribers, and even the likes and the comments. They go up every month, and it's really cool to see the support behind this. So I just want to take a minute while I'm just sort of making filler commentary to thank you guys for all your support with the channel. So this was Confusion Test. Watching it, it was a little confusing, but it's still a great chamber, and it's getting a lot of ratings, so good job there. Access Denied was a name that just struck me when I first heard it. I stood there for a second thinking, okay, I'm not really sure what to expect out of this. And really, it was a beautiful looking chamber. And it, you know, even just the lights right over the water, it was just, they put a lot of time into making it look right, and I think that paid off, because it looks great and it plays even better than it looks. In fact, it played so well that I feel like I got played, because I never got access granted. I could not figure it out for the life of me, and I ended up spending a fair bit of time trying different things to see if I could solve it, and I ended up not. I had to skip it, but it's still a really good chamber, and hopefully maybe you guys can see something that I missed so that I can come back next time and try it again, because with a chamber that looks this good and is so difficult, I really do want to solve it, but this time around I didn't get to it. So since I'm able to talk and not be distracted by things in the chambers, I've been hinting at it for a few days now, but this is probably the best chance I'm going to get to talk about it, because I don't have anything else to do other than watch this video and grab any highlights that I need to. I want to start a new series, and you've probably heard me say it in one or two other videos, Achievement Hunters. I want to go through all my games, because I look at my profile and it's got the achievement showcase on there, because I thought I had a few cool ones, and it says my overall completion for games is 51%. Out of all the achievements I have, I've completed, or out of all the achievements in all the games I have, 51% of them are complete. It's a very low number, and I want to use this series to kind of get back into games that I just haven't played in a long time. And I think it would go alongside random games, but it could potentially end up replacing it. I'm not sure yet, because with random games I'm having a hard time coming up with new stuff. So that's why this month I'm doing Random Games Revisited, looking back at games that I had a lot of fun with, games you guys liked and wanted to see again, but couldn't quite make into a series. So Achievement Hunters, I'm going to take the achievements list and target maybe, I don't know, 5 of them, or depending on the difficulty, however many I can. And that one's going to be more of a hack and slice episode. It's not going to be one continuous cut, because that's going to take a lot of work. But I still think it could be something really interesting, and yeah, something you guys might enjoy. So leave your feedback on that down below, because the other thing I haven't figured out yet is when that episode would air. Because right now I do 6 videos a week, so I take Sunday off, and then it's just one video for every day. The thing with that is, if I start Achievement Hunters, it would either air in the hole I have on Sunday, which I'd be okay with if I recorded ahead of time like I always do, but if I have to record that day, that's kind of a problem. So if it wouldn't air on Sunday, then when would it air? Because that's the thing I'm kind of stuck with, because Random Games is a Monday thing, so I thought maybe towards the end of the week, maybe alongside SimCity. But then again, that's kind of close to right when you come back. So I'm not quite sure yet. Maybe you guys have some suggestions for me. Looking at the timeline. Actually, I can't look at it because there's a strange thing about Premiere Elements. When you try and resize the program, you start losing elements on your screen. So I actually... Oh, there we go. I found the key for it. Yeah, when you look at the sound, there's no way to tell when the level's gonna end. But I'd imagine it's gonna be soon. Another thing I want to do, and I've been wanting to do this for a while, is start gaming with you guys more. And I haven't quite figured out what game to do that with, when to do it, because I don't exactly have the hardware, or at least I haven't tested it to see if I have the hardware to live stream. And I know multiple monitors is kind of helpful for that, so you can look at other stuff too. But then again, I could set up another computer. But one thing I did, and I kind of did it quietly, but I don't mind saying it, is I normally don't make a habit of adding people I don't know to my friends list on Steam, but I went ahead and did that with the 2 guys that have won the Steam giveaways so far, just because there might be a chance that we could find something together that we both like and be able to play. and that could make for some interesting content for you guys. But on the broader spectrum of it, I would like to just have a time where I could say, I want to go play multiplayer on this game, and I know you guys have it, so let's go play that. Oh yeah, this is the part where, oh yeah, the questionable test chamber. This one was fun. I'll get back to the multiplayer in a bit. The questionable test chamber, I was struck by the name, and I'm a sucker for names because they're just so interesting. So I almost walk off the edge right there. And then I see the other way around, and I start taking that. And then I start sizing up the elements that are in it, trying to figure out what connects to the exit and all of that good stuff. And I realize it's as simple as the cube and the button. Now, that seems simple enough, so I go ahead and solve it, and then I start asking myself, well, if that opened the exit, then what is that for? We got a laser, a receptacle, and a hard light bridge, and no real idea what they connect to. So I portal through the exit, and I'm thinking to myself, what? What? And then it's just done. And I said, this is a very questionable test chamber. I have many questions for it. But it was fun. I think the name made it better. So this is the Stanley parable. And I wish I had the script in front of me now to do take 2 on it. Because when I walked through the doors, I was presented with the choice. Just like it was in the game. Then again, those lights came on and it felt like an interrogation room, so I had to decide pretty quickly. So the thing with the Stanley parable is you come to a door, the narrator says Stanley took the door on his right, and then you decide, do I want to take the door on the right, or do I take the door on the left? And I'm laughing to myself because the timing on that lined up just right. I'm just voicing over watching the video, and that just happened perfectly. So what I did is I closed my eyes and I just spun my mouse, and I had no idea it looked like that on the screen. And then I just found I was pointing that way, so I thought to myself, well, this side is kind of related to this door, so we'll just go that way. And then from there I just ended up wandering aimlessly, wondering why doors were shutting behind me. So back with the multiplayer, I would love to play some Grid 2 multiplayer, but I have no idea how to do it because I was never one for online multiplayer. So if any of you guys have that game, or at least know how to set up multiplayer with or without a friends list, I would love to hear from you down below in the comments on how to do that, because I've always been a fan of that game, and I would love to do some online racing and actually race people and see how good I am. But since I've never done multiplayer before, I have no idea how these lobbies work and matchmaking and all that stuff. So I don't know if you have to have people on your friends list to play it with, or if you can just do it with anybody. Because I know that's a thing sometimes. So I would love a little feedback on that. But I do want to play games with you, and it doesn't have to be Grid 2. It could be anything, provided I have it. If I don't have it, but it looks really, really interesting, I might be convinced to buy it. I said that to someone else. I did that with Octodad. Somebody recommended it to me, and I remembered how strange it looked. So I went ahead and bought it, and now I'm going to be grinding on the achievements for it to try and 100% complete the game. And I really love doing that. There's something about completing them that is just so much fun. You know, just to say, I beat this, it's done. I can't tell you how many times I did that with the Lego games. Okay, so this is the part where he did me dirty. I ran, I even tried to portal, and he killed me. I don't even know if that's the real exit, but after that, I was just thinking to myself, you know what? You just went there. You did that to me, and I kind of saw it coming because I knew those were panels. So I skipped to the next one, and that was the second half of the Stanley parable. That was if you ended up in a certain room, because I guess he ran out of space. So I decided I'd go ahead and poke my head in it, but then I would continue on, just because I was done with Stanley Parable and Portal. I've played a little bit of the real game, but I haven't played all of it. My sister actually got it, and it looks very fun. So next was TimeTOdie. I couldn't remember which chamber from this guy I played last time. Was it 15 or 39, or was I just spitting out numbers? But I walked in and it just looked... I was taken back. It just looked... I took a screenshot of it. It just looked good. And then I went into the little rooms on the side and started working on the little puzzles, and they were just as good as the rest of it. I'm actually a fan of these kinds of puzzles. You know, the funnel and the cube. Excuse me. I feel like there's a name for it, but I don't actually know what it is. So sometimes I feel a little weird talking about it because I feel like I'm not sure what I'm talking about. But this was a very, very nice chamber. And it all flowed together very nicely. So as I go through the other rooms, you'll see those tests happening. What was I talking about? Playing with people, live streaming. I do want to figure out how to do that. I know there's a lot of options out there, but you know, I almost feel like I should wait until the point where I actually have a desktop with a legitimate setup. And I don't know, from the way the channel is growing, when I can actually justify needing to buy a real computer. Because right now, I don't know if any of you know this, I'm doing all of this off of a laptop. I have an Acer Aspire M5. And I know there's a lot of different models of that, but I won't bore you with the numbers. If you really want to know, you can ask me. And I've always been surprised with how well it games. It was never built to be a hardcore gaming machine, but when I was buying it, it has graphics just a little bit above what you normally see, and I think it pushed it just far enough that, you know, the whole CPU and RAM thing, in conjunction with these graphics, it's actually not a bad combo. So I've always... it's my baby, really. And that sounds a little weird to say, but, you know, I've loved this computer and it's served me well. So, you know, one day I plan on upgrading my desk. We've got this beautiful slab of wood in the workshop, and it'll fit my spot just great. Because my desk sits in a corner, and it's really gonna fit just like an L-shaped desk, which I've always kind of had a soft spot for. So that kind of excited me, because, oh yeah, this part drove me crazy because the panel retracted, and I really wasn't sure what was next, because I didn't know what that button did. And then all of a sudden I'm thinking I'm trapped, so I start shooting portals, thinking, is there anywhere? And then I drop through the floor and then find this button. So I don't think I ever actually made it back to the button that was up there. No, I did. That's right. I was confused for a minute, but I never hit that button that I felt to. I don't know. It's easier to remember when you're in the chamber, but this one was a lot of fun. And the laser puzzle is very complicated, but at the same time kind of simple, which I'm a big fan of, because, you know, once you figure out what you need to do, it works out a lot better, and it's not as complicated as it seems. And this piston puzzle was great, because once I figured out what the different pistons went to, Then the second challenge appeared, and you'll see that I haven't quite realized it. I have to push the cube out, but it has to stay up there. So I have to keep 2 of the panels activated at the same time, and that's where the second part of this puzzle kicks in. And I'm thinking, okay, what do these buttons do? Nothing yet. But I really liked the solution in the end, because it was really as simple as that. And there's a lot of things in these tests for this episode that just took me by surprise, and I just had to do a voiceover for it because I really enjoyed them. And I couldn't just say goodbye to them, tell everybody sorry, oh well, I'll just record new ones or play them again and act like I haven't, because that never goes well. If you play a test you've already done, you know it and I know it, it's just not going to end well because you've already done it. This room confused me because there's 2 exits and I had no idea which was the real one. The interesting thing was, though, I really don't know how he did it to make 2 legitimate exits, but it actually ended up crashing. Well, not crashing, but it did something weird that I wasn't expecting. And you'll see it in a minute once I grab this cube and then realize it's supposed to go up there anyway and then throw it back. At an angle, of course. I never place my cubes right. I always have to get them a second time. So then I jump down and try and figure out which one is the real exit. And let's just say I guessed wrong. Maybe if I took a look down, I would... Oh yeah, I did take a look down and there was no difference. So I went in, the door opened, and there's no elevator. Whoa, even my Fraps recording numbers were bleeding through there. That's kind of interesting. You can kind of... No, you can't. That's weird. I don't know how that showed up. So the next thing I tried was seeing if I could no-clip back through the door to get to the elevator. And then everything was reset. So I was very confused. And then I ended up just skipping the chamber just because it was... I had solved it. I got to the exit. And then that's about it. That's where I ended up wrapping up for the episode. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, even if it wasn't the actual commentary I had. But I just couldn't let this go. So if you're a map maker, remember you can always send me your maps in the comments below or on my Steam profile. I always play them, but sometimes it takes a while before I can get to them because I like to play new stuff too. But until next time, unless the internet explodes, I'm the Future Game Dev. You guys take care.